Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to the Dan Wickline Show. I'm your host, Gomer Pyle, and golly, we have a lot of news to cover today. Yep, going to kick this right off with going to start with the fact that it's Towel Day. Now, Kyle, our producer, wanted me to remind you of that, but I already knew it was Towel Day. For those of you who don't know, this is a celebration of the Douglas Adams series of novels that started with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now, of course, it wasn't a novel series at first. It was a series of radio programs that started in 1978 and then were adapted to the stage, novels, comics, television, video games, and then finally in 2005, a feature film. Now, I came across Hitchhikers when I was in high school, read the first one, and also did a performance. I know it's going to shock you guys with the fact that I'm on your screen a couple times a week. I was a drama kid. I did performances. I was part of the drama team or drama class. And one of the things we did was we did festivals, and we did a scene or a kind of a collection of scenes from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And originally I was playing Marvin, the paranoid android, which awesome character, awesome part. I was really into it, but I would come in and it'd be like, hello, yeah. And I'd be talking like this. And it was such a downer that it brought the whole thing. You put some Vogan poetry up here and I will recite it. It was such a downer, though, when I would come on stage, it brought the whole scene down. So we ended up flopping the personalities with Eddie's, and I played it as a much more happy android. But, yeah, so I'm very familiar with Hitchhikers and carrying your towel with you. So remember, when you go out today, have your towel with you. All right. Like I said, we've got a ton of news stories. And because we're coming off the weekend, I don't have a Monday show. We're going to have some stuff Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday news. So that's why it's so big. Now, I know the big thing that dropped on Monday was the Eternals trailer, and where I'm going to go kind of a deep dive into the trailer and to what you need to know about the Eternals going into the movie. I'm going to do that tomorrow. That's going to be its own show, kind of like how I did a deep dive into the Black Knight. So tomorrow we'll take a really good look at the Eternals. But today we're going to focus on the news stories. And like I said, I've got at least a dozen. I got a spare one in case we don't have, it doesn't fill enough time. But I have a feeling it's going to. So we're going to start off with, and this is the one that I'm a little leery about. Timothée Chalamet, who is, for all intents and purposes, everybody tells me, is an incredible actor. And he's been cast to play the world's most famous chocolatier, Willy Wonka, in a musical based on the early life of Willy Wonka from before the time we've seen him. Now, the actor will be, now his representation has promised the actor will be singing and dancing in the film. Now, there's been two adaptations of the Roald Dahl children's book, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The first, of course, being the highly celebrated 1971 film with Gene Wilder. And the second, the little less well-received Tim Burton's version with Johnny Depp in the lead. Now, Chalamet will be appearing in a lot of movies coming up. So if you're not familiar with him, you're going to get a lot of chances to see him before we ever see him as Willy Wonka. He's in the upcoming Dune movie. He's in Wes Anderson's film, The French Dispatch. He's also doing Adam McKay's disaster movie, Don't Look Up. And he's going to be playing Bob Dylan in the biopic Going Electric. He's in that awesome. He's going to play Bob Dylan. So that's just, I don't know about doing a prequel story for Willy Wonka. Do we need a prequel Willy Wonka? Gene Wilder's portrayal was so spot on and so amazing and still in all of our hearts that when Depp did it And even though, they tried to add some things, a little more about his backstory and stuff, it just wasn't well received because we see Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. Now, there's currently a commercial series that there's a commercial series that features Willy Wonka, and it's kind of a silly little series where he's looking at candy and stuff. But yeah, it's Gene Wilder. So seeing Timothée Chalamet in it, I don't know. I'm going to wait and see on that one. I'm going to reserve opinion on that one. Now, second big news, and this was the really surprising one. Henry Cavill has been tapped to play the Highlander in a reboot. Connor McLeod himself. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Highlander series. I loved the movies. I loved the TV series. I have like all of the seasons on VHS in the box sets they used to sell. I even have the coat, and I think I have one of the swords. So, yeah, I was a big Highlander fan. Now, they're bringing in Chad Stahelski. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. But basically the director of John Wick, one of the directors of John Wick, to do the reboot. But this is something that they have been trying to get off the ground for a while, at least in the last 6 or 7 years. They've had, at one point, Dave Bautista was attached to it to play the Kurgan. There was another time that Tom Cruise was being talked about as playing Ramirez. And even Ryan Reynolds was talked about for a while to play Connor McLeod. So now that Cavill is attached, he's a big enough star. People are used to seeing him with a sword because of The Witcher. So will it finally move forward? There was also rumors that in about 2018 that there was a finished script that they were going to work from. But now we don't know if that script's going to still be used. Are they starting over on the script? Will Cavill want to get in on the scripting? Remains to be seen. But for anybody who's a fan of the Highlander series, the idea of getting more Highlander should be pretty exciting. Now, my fan casting, I love the idea of Bautista as Kurgan because Cavill is such a big guy. Originally, Christopher Lambert played Connor McLeod, and he's not that big a guy. So Clancy Brown playing the Kurgan was perfect. He came across as imposing. Yes, JD, this is a live stream. I'm here. Hi, JD. Should there be only one Highlander movie? Well, if you saw Highlander 2, then yes, there should have been only one Highlander movie, though the Renegade cut did make that a bit better. But yeah, there should only be one. The Saturday show is pre-taped. That's the only one that's pre-taped. So the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday shows are all live. The Saturday show is actually a re-recording of the one I do Sunday night on my own YouTube channel called Popco the Writers. So if you want that one live, you need to hit up on my YouTube channel on Sunday nights. So, but yeah, so I like Dave Bautista, the idea of him as the Kurgan. I also like the idea of Jason Momoa, I think would be a good Kurgan, because you've got to have somebody who'd be physically imposing to Henry Cavill, and there aren't a lot of people out there who are going to fit that bill. Now, Ramirez, I don't like the idea of Tom Cruise as Ramirez. I hope he's not attached anymore. The names I keep seeing pop up, and this is, again, fan casting, but Pedro Pascal or Antonio Banderas are both names that pop up for Ramirez, and both of those, I think, would be really interesting and good choices. Maybe Banderas is the better choice, being that Ramirez is supposed to be more of a mentor type, but these guys aren't supposed to age, so it really doesn't matter. They could get a three-year-old kid as long as they could, do the lines and say, "Oh, he was a Highlander." Okay, a 3-year-old kid might not work, but yeah. And I couldn't imagine Ryan Reynolds as the Highlander. That just would have. I don't know if it would have had the right tone. That would have been a weird movie. But all right, let's move on. The CW has a bunch of announcements we're going to go through. The first one is they have picked up the series Naomi. And that is a new superhero series written by and executive produced by Ava DuVernay and Arrow writer and co-EP Jill Blankenship. It follows a teenage girl's journey from her small northwestern town to the heights of the multiverse. When a supernatural event shakes her hometown to the core, Naomi sets out to uncover its origins. And what she discovers will change everything we believe about our heroes. Now, Casey Walfall stars as the title character, and Cranston Johnson, Alexander Rath, Mary Charlie Jones, and Barry Watson are all in it as well. This is based on a 2019 comic book series that was co-written by Brian Michael Bendis and David F. Walker and illustrated by Jamal Campbell. Now, there's a video out there that kind of teases it along with some of their other new shows. I'm not sure what Barry Watson was in. Let me check real quick. Now you got me curious. Seventh Heaven. Yeah, Barry Watson was in Seventh Heaven. That seems to be the most popular thing. He was in Murder in the First, Masters of Sex, Heart of Dixie. Yeah, he's been around a bit. So, yeah, Barry Watson's done a few things. Daniel Craig could be an interesting one for Ramirez. Because, I mean, Sean Connery was the original Ramirez. So that would be kind of interesting, another James Bond playing Ramirez. I don't see him as being like Connor McLeod or anything. Would be an interesting take on the Kurgan. Yeah, I can see Daniel Craig playing a role in there. But yeah, I don't see, Henry. I love the idea of Henry Cavill as Connor McLeod. So now... But yeah, they could pop him in anywhere. I'm a Daniel Craig fan, so throw him in anywhere, and I'm fine with that. Yeah, he wouldn't be as imposing, but he does have this ability to be threatening that I think would be interesting. So, all right, continuing on with the CW. Last night we saw the series finale of The Black Lightning, which has been a great show. I've really enjoyed it. But while the show was ending, there was this possibility of a spinoff starring the character of Painkiller, who was played by Jordan Calloway. But we got word now from Mark Pedowitz, who's the top guy at the CW, that, that's not happening. It's not going forward. There will not be a Painkiller series. And basically we see the end of the Black Lightning universe or Black Lightning characters in the Arrowverse, unless they're going to guest star on other shows. And speaking of that, now this is interesting. They have said that season 8 of The Flash is going to start off with this 5-episode event. Now it's not really a crossover, but it's going to have a crossover feeling, and it's going to feature different heroes from the Arrowverse. Now, they're not saying whether it's just going to be the existing characters or if they'll be introducing new heroes to the Arrowverse. And yeah, they keep trying to use CWverse, but it's the Arrowverse. But there's a lot of departures going on right now. You've got Black Lightning's ending. Arrow has already ended. Cisco Ramon and Harry Wells are all leaving Flash. There's rumors that Daniel Panabaker's Killer Frost might be leaving. Supergirl's going to be wrapping up. I think the next season's their last, or the current season, but I'm not sure which one it is. But yeah, so we're losing all these shows and losing all these characters. Will they start filling it back up again? Naomi's going to be a new character, but will she be part of the Arrowverse? Well, Stargirl is on the CW, but will that be part of the Arrowverse? I know it's a different Earth in the Arrowverse, so I don't know which characters are going to cross over with, but I'm kind of curious to see. And then one more bit of Arrowverse news, and this is for fans of Legends of Tomorrow, more specifically the fuzzy little blue guy, Bebo. They're going to do an animated 1-hour Bebo Saves Christmas special. I love Bebo. I think he's a silly, great character. And the special is going to be, this is what it says, when Sprinkles, an efficiency-obsessed elf, decides, all hail Bebo, yes. When an efficiency-obsessed elf decides Christmas would run better without Santa Claus, Bebo and his friends travel to the North Pole to help discover what truly makes Christmas meaningful. Now, Ben Dishkin is going to do the voice of Bebo. Kimiko Glenn is going to do Tweebo. Yvette Nicole Brown is Turbo. Keith Ferguson is Fleebo. So Bebo, Tweebo, Turbo, and Fleebo are his friends. But the best castings are Chris Kattan as Sprinkles. I love that. Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters is going to be Santa. Yeah, I don't see a bimbo listed, JD. That would be an interesting, but that might be the less holiday special and more, yeah. And Victor Garber, the original Firestorm, one of the original Firestorm people, is coming back to be the narrator. So that should be a lot of fun. Now, we've got something special coming up. I believe it's this weekend. This is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And this Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be doing a whole weekend full of stuff. And it's going to be hosted by Amy Chu and Ming Chen. And it's a celebration of the AAPI Heritage Month. So if you're around this weekend, tune in and check out some of the guests we have. I don't know if I'm allowed to say any of the guests. I saw one, but I'll have to know if producer Kyle is going to let me say who the person is. But until then, I'm going to keep quiet. But tune in this weekend for our celebration of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Tell him. The name I saw is Larry Hama. All right, G.I. Joe writer extraordinaire. Okay, this is the guy that made Snake Eyes so damn awesome in an episode with no words, an entirely silent issue of G.I. Joe. And now Snake Eyes is getting his own movie, and the behind the scenes stuff, they're all talking about that issue that Larry Hama wrote. Larry Hama got brought on the set to be a consultant for the Snake Eyes movie. Larry Hama has been writing amazing comics for a long, long time, and he's going to be on the experience this weekend, so you definitely want to tune in for that. Also, sign up for our mailing list at thecomicshoppingexperience.com to get schedules, updates, and our guest lists like Larry Hama. All right, we're going to move on to a little bit more news. This one has to do with the Powerpuff Girls. I'll admit, I totally shook my head when I saw that they were going to make a live-action Powerpuff Girls. And then even more so when they announced the cast. Chloe Bennett from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Dove Cameron, who was also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while, and Yana Perrault, who I'm not sure where she's from, but the three of them were cast in a live-action Powerpuff Girls. Chloe Bennett was going to be Blossom, Dove Cameron as Bubbles, and Yana as Buttercup. Well, Kyle says he's sad about that, but don't be sad, Kyle. Because even though it's not moving forward at the moment, Mark Pedowitz again said that he really thinks that everything is in place to do a good series, but he didn't like the pilot. they referred to it as being too campy, and it needed to be more rooted in reality. So they're going to repilot it. They're keeping the same writers, they're keeping the same cast. They're just going to rewrite the script and reshoot the pilot, do a new pilot. Now, that's fascinating as hell. Keep in mind, that's kind of what happened to Star Trek. You know, we see The Cage is the famous first pilot for the Star Trek that they, didn't like. Lucille Ball said, no, there's something special here. Let's do another pilot. And in that time, Jeffrey Hunter passed away and William Shatner came on board. So it doesn't mean it's dead. And the fact that he's talking about it in that way is a good sign that they really want this to be successful. They just didn't like the pilot. Now, the thing to worry about is the term rooted in reality. It's the Powerpuff Girls. How much reality is there supposed to be? Don't they fight a monkey in a turban? Did I miss something? But then again, there is, and this is completely rumor, and I normally don't do rumors, but this one's interesting. Supposedly part of the script leaked, and there was discussions of like a sex life and stuff for these characters. So this is obviously a grown-up version of the Powerpuff Girls, and it's going to be a CW show when it comes out. But the fact that they want to root it more in reality, if there was already sex talk and stuff like that, this ain't your little girls, Powerpuff Girls. So let's just wonder deeply about that one, shall we? Okay, let's do one more bit of news, and this was another one that shocked me. Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead plays Daryl. He's still involved with the possible spinoff, but he is working with AMC to adapt the cult classic film Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. But he's not adapting it as a movie or a miniseries, which I could see working. He wants to adapt it as a regular series for AMC. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. The film stars Tourist Satana, and she's the leader of this, go-go. There you go. JD's a big fan of the Russ Meyer stuff. So am I. I love Russ Meyer. His sexploitation stuff of the 70s. I remember a few of them. My mother was the first. Oddly enough, my mother was the first one to ever tell me about the movie Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens. So, yeah, Faster Pussycat. So it's about these go-go dancing, hot rodding women who basically they're on a murder spree as they're driving across Death Valley. At one point, they kidnap a girl, they kill her boyfriend, and they pretty much shake up every gender norm of the time, mind you. This was the 60s, so yeah, I could see it being them doing a modern day version of it, or just redoing it, but still set in that time, or even doing a mini series, but a full on TV series. That just, I don't know. JD, could you see them making a full TV series out of Faster Pussycat? I mean, what would they be doing? You'd have to add an element to make it ongoing, How long does it take to drive across Death Valley? How many episodes is that? They're going to have to be either trying to get revenge on somebody, or suddenly they're monster hunters, or it's Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, oh God, there's zombies. Maybe that's the plan. I don't know. But to do more than a movie or maybe a miniseries seems like a massive stretch. So, all right. Actually, Kyle, if you're awake, this is when I wanted that link. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's a tough one. The charm of the original is what was fun, 90 minutes crazy one-off. Yeah, exactly, JD. So, wanted to tell you guys, I ordered for the first time from Dynamic Forces. Now, I've associated with Dynamite, stuff like that, but I'd never actually ordered from them before. And I saw they send a mailer out a couple times a week, and it's got all their books on it that they're highlighting that week. And I saw they had an art gem cover of Heroes Reborn #1. And I thought, that's a good looking cover. That's Power Princess on the cover. And Heroes Reborn is kind of the hot thing going on over at Marvel right now. It's the new series. It's Ed McGuinness. It's art, Jason Aaron writing. And it's all about what if the world without basically the Avengers. And it's the Squadron Supreme or the big guys. So I ordered this, and it wasn't that much. And I know you can get variants at local comic shops and stuff, but I tried getting it from Dynamic Forces. And I got to tell you, I was really impressed because it showed up quickly, but the packaging was what blew my mind. It was in a bag and a board. Then it was put with 2 more hard pieces of cardboard in a thick cardboard mailer. Then that mailer was put in an even bigger cardboard mailer. So there was no bending this package at all. There was none. And when I went out to get it from my mailbox, the mailman had to put it on top because it wouldn't fit inside because he couldn't bend it. So I was really pleased with how quickly it came, the shape it came in, the cost. I mean, for this variant, this not as easy to get variant, I was really impressed and I was really pleased. It's a cool book. So if you like this cover and you want to check it out, you want to try ordering from Dynamic Forces, the link's in the chat for this issue. They still got some. I mean, look at that. Doesn't that look like it should be Wonder Woman, but it's Power Princess? And that is just a phenomenal cover. So take a look at that. If you're following Heroes Reborn, if you're not, it's a good series to jump in on. There's a bunch of spinoffs. We're going to be talking about some of them tonight on our show in stores this week with myself and Kyle as we go. That'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. So just wanted to mention that book. I think it's a really cool book. And I was really impressed by Dynamic Forces and their shipping and everything else. So, and also, thank you, Kyle. Tune in Saturday evening at 6 on YouTube for our Dynamic Forces show, where Nick Barucci himself comes on and shows you some of the neat things they have. That site has a lot of really neat, unique items like signed books and remarked books. So you can get a blank cover book with actual art on it. Somebody, original art on it. It's a neat site. Check it out if you don't know of them. All right. We've hit the halfway point, and I think we should probably roll into a commercial, and I'll come back and finish the news. So, Kyle, take us away to commercial, please.
watching Minute to Skim It on the Experience. So, hello. All right, we've got lots of books to review for you guys today. And Hannah just basically showed up just the number ones and showed them to me, and I was like, "Oh, we have
just for the indies,
just for the indies." Yeah, I was like, "We have got a lot to do."
Only on The Experience this weekend, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, with hosts Amy Chu and Ming Chen. Tune in Saturday and Sunday for great conversations with great creators and a celebration of the heritage that these creators have brought to comics. Saturday and Sunday, only on The Experience.
Man, that Minute to Skim It ad really threw me off. That started running. I thought, wait, is he running a different show suddenly? Am I down to a half hour? What happened? All right, so let's get back to the news. Again, it's amazing how much stuff came out in the last couple of days. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Wanted to figure out where I was at. Over the last year, we have seen every movie get delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. I mean, poor Black Widow. It's now, almost a year and a half after it was supposed to come out. It's finally going to see, or pretty close to it. Well, news came out that, this week that one movie is getting moved up. It's actually being moved from September 17th to July 2nd, and that is The Boss Baby Family Business. Yes. Because you admit it, you wanted more of the Boss Baby. You know, cookies are for closers. That's the line. That's Alec Baldwin as a baby is what you've been wanting, and now you don't have to wait as long. Because instead of waiting all the way to September, you're going to get it July 2nd. But not only are you going to get it July 2nd, you don't even have to go to the theater to see it. They're going to release it day and date on Peacock. Do you have Peacock? Do you know what Peacock is? Peacock is Universal and NBC's streaming channel. It is their version of Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and HBO Max. It's Peacock. They thought that was a really clever name. Yeah, I'm picking on them for that because it's not a good name. It's not. Anyway, so the Baby Boss Family Business is going to be released on Peacock on July 2nd and in theaters, and it's no additional charge. So it's not like Disney where they give you a premium fee. You just turn it on and you get Boss Baby. Now, Peacock itself, not that expensive from what I understand. I think it's there's like a commercial version with $4.99, a non-commercial $9.99 or something. You'll have to check into that. But if you're interested, they are producing other stuff for the network. They're good. That's where the Robert Langdon series is going to be. The Dan Brown Da Vinci Code novel character. That's where that TV series is going to be on the Peacock as well. Plus, I think they have Scrubs now. Oh, Punky Brewster, Saved by the Bell, and the WWE Network. So if you're a wrestling fan, you might actually have Peacock. So now you can get Boss Baby. And if you're not ready, the sequel to Boss Baby, not only is Alec Baldwin returning, but added to the voice cast, James Marsden, Cyclops himself, Amy Sedaris, who you've seen recently in The Mandalorian, and the Grandmaster, Jeff Goldblum. So check out The Boss Baby on Peacock starting July 2nd or in theaters. Look, I am raring to go back to the movies. I am excited as soon as there is a movie that I want to see in the theaters, I will be there. And I know I'm going to go see Black Widow in the movie theaters. I will go see Snake Eyes. I will go see Venom. I will go see Shang-Chi. Those are all movie theater movies to me. I don't know if The Boss Baby would get me to the theater, especially if I'm watching it with kids. So putting it on Peacock day and date may be the best move. But we'll see. Okay. Now, I'm going to jump into a different story. I didn't have this story quite prepared. It popped up. So I'm going to do a little bit reading from the actual site. But Bloody Disgusting is reporting that the Hellraiser remake has landed at Hulu. Now, if you're a horror fan, if you're a fan of Pinhead, if you're a fan of Clive Barker, this is great news. Okay? Now, we've been, he's been, the Hellraiser movies originally came out in like 1987, and there's been a few sequels. There's been some direct-to-video ones, but it's been a while since we've gotten a real new Hellraiser movie with the, I think they're the Chinabots or something. But the guy who's pushing this is David S. Goyer. Now, you may be familiar with Goyer. He wrote the scripts for the Blade trilogy and for the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. So he's got some, some good backing there. And David Bruckner is supposed to be directing the project. So, again, if you are a fan of Clive Barker and stuff, now Barker actually reacquired the rights to the Hellraiser films back in December of 2020. Wait a minute. Barker's involvement in the Hulu remains... Oh. Okay, he got the film rights back in 2020, and he's supposed to get the full rights back in 2020, in this year, December. But whether he's involved in the Hulu project or not is unclear. So, but Goyer's involved and Buckner's involved, so you can get some new Pinhead soon. Now, I'm assuming they're going to recast Pinhead, in which case, I'm ready. Give me a call. Let's do it. I think I could wear the little pins. I could shave my head, shave the beard. Yeah, that could be fun. All right. Now, this one's a little more sensitive topic that I'm going to go into here. And it's kind of appropriate for the month where, the Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Kevin Feige came out recently in an interview with Men's Health magazine. And in it, he pretty much kind of reversed his thinking on the casting of Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One in Doctor Strange, the 2016 movie. He's now saying that he regrets casting Swinton. Now, this isn't a knock on Swinton's performance in any way, but rather the fact that it was, when it happened, they started calling it whitewashing. Now, this isn't the first time Marvel's been accused of whitewashing in films. It was unfairly used in talking about Iron Fist when that came on, because that, they said that it should be an Asian character, but it was the problem with Iron Fist. It's the white savior stereotype, and there's a lot of negative stereotypes involved with Marvel stuff, because in the 70s and stuff, there wasn't the cultural awareness that there is nowadays. So they were accused of whitewashing, but in their defense at that point, Daniel Rand is a white character in the comics. Putting that aside, the Ancient One is an elderly Asian man in the comics. Now, Marvel and the director Scott Derrickson wanted to avoid the negative stereotype of the wizened old Asian man. So, what Feige said is, we thought we were being so smart and so cutting edge. We're not going to do the cliche of the wizened, old, wise Asian man. But it was a wake-up call to say, well, wait a minute. Is there any other way to figure it out? Is there any other way to both not fall into the cliche and cast an Asian actor? And the answer to that is, of course, yes. But that's what he's saying now. At the time, Scott Derrickson, in an interview with the Daily Beast, talked about the casting of Tilda Swinton, and he wanted to avoid the wizened old Asian stereotype, but his problem was by just flipping gender, he was worried about leading into the dragon lady stereotype. And what he said was, I just didn't feel like there was any way to get around that because of the dragon lady. By definition, is a domineering, powerful, secretive, mysterious Asian woman of age with duplicitous motives. And I just described Tilda's character. I really felt like I was going to be contributing to a bad stereotype. So Derrickson went with Swinton and tried to just eliminate the whole possibility. The fact that Kevin Feige is coming out now and saying he regrets that, it's interesting because a lot of times we see these situations and it seems like they're being tone deaf or they're not getting it. In this case, it kind of feels like they overthought it. You know, at the time, Derrickson, Feige, and Swinton all came out defending it and trying to, and like I said, you get the feeling that they were really trying to do the right thing, but didn't quite get it. There aren't that many Asian characters, and taking it away from an Asian actor was not the right move. But that's something you can look at in hindsight. You can see that their heart was in the right place, but perhaps if they would have sat back or maybe talked to more people in the Asian community, that might have been the better choice. But it's obvious now Feige feels different about it. Now, Marvel doesn't seem to have a problem with, casting Asians, casting cultural differences. You look at the upcoming Eternals movie, you look at Shang-Chi, they're quite diverse casts. Well, Eternals is incredibly diverse cast. Every representation from just across the board, including a deaf woman playing a deaf character and an openly gay character. And Shang-Chi is majority Asian movie. I'm trying to think, other than Razor Fist, I don't know of any non-Asian characters in there. In Black Panther, you had Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman were the only real whites or non-African American or non-blacks, people of color in that movie. So that doesn't seem to be the problem. I think the casting of Tilda Swinton, they can look back and regret it now, but you can see that their heart was in the right place. So I just find it interesting that he's chosen now to come out and talk about it. And it could be because of the upcoming Shang-Chi movie. But yeah, so that's been the big news with that. Okay, that really covers the news that I had. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to dive in deep into the Eternals movie. But what you need to know going in. I've already started collecting some notes and giving you some history stuff. But I wanted to give my thoughts on the trailer. Now we know Chloe Zhao is the director, and of course she just won an Academy Award for No Man Land. And the first thing I think of besides the incredibly interesting musical choice. That's if you're not familiar with that song, I've got it here. It's by a woman named Skeeter Davis, and it's a song called "End of the World," which, if you looked up and you saw a giant triangle spaceship in front of you, and you're at the dawn of time, and you're going to think it's the end of the world too. But it's such an interesting musical choice, and it goes so well with the mood or it sets an interesting mood for the trailer. But the other thing I noticed is it's a gorgeous movie, or at least the scenes, it's beautiful. I mean, the way Zhao frames her shots, the scenery, the big backgrounds and stuff, this isn't like any other Marvel movie we've seen. This is a big, epic event. And it works because of who the characters are. The closest thing we've had to this would be the original Thor movie and how they treated Asgard when we first saw it. Kenneth Branagh was able to bring that epic feeling to Asgard when they first panned in on it. And you had that big sweeping camera shot that started below it and flipped up, and we got to see the Gold City and all that. Here we get a lot of footage that is symbolic and scenic. Obviously, a lot of this takes place in the ancient city of Babylon. We see part of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. We see the Ishtar Gate, and time-wise, that would be about 575 BC. And of course, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were one of the 7 ancient wonders of the world. So I mean, this is a huge thing. And the Ishtar Gate still exists. They haven't moved to a museum, I believe, in Germany. So you're getting this grand scope. But we got no plot. It shows us the main characters. It gives us that little button at the end that ties it to the Marvel Universe. And we get the voiceover from Salma Hayek's character of Ajax as she's talking about, we've been here since the dawn of time. We've observed, we've guided, but we've never interfered until now. It's like, okay. Why are you interfering now? What's happening? You going to give us a hint? Because, I mean, okay, let's be honest. You're going to get my money anyway. I'm going to be in the theater watching. But is it the Deviants? Is it going to be the Deviants? Because if it is, it would have been nice to see one of the Deviants. Is it going to be a Celestial? Are we following Neil Gaiman's run where there's a Celestial in the Earth that's going to wake up and destroy the planet? And the Eternals need to make sure he stays asleep? Is the Judgment guy coming back and he's going to do the fourth host thing and go, humanity's done? There's not a lot of stories to do with the Eternals, so I'm not sure why they didn't bother to give us at least a hint. That said, we get a nice introduction to the characters. We see Kamar Najani as Kingo. We see, I'm never going to get the names. There's so many different names. But we see Rob Stark. Yeah. By the way, I do love the fact that Rob Stark's character and Jon Snow's character are in a love triangle with somebody named Cersei. That just seems ironic to me. Being a Game of Thrones, But we get Angelina Jolie as Athena. We get Salma Hayek as Ajax. Gemma Chan as Cersei, and Gemma Chan's coming back for her second Marvel character. Because remember, we saw her as Minerva in Captain Marvel. So she and Michelle Yeoh are like the first two people to actually appear as two different characters in the Marvel Universe. Well, unless you count Sean Gunn, who's the body of Rocket, and of course Kraglin, I think his name is. But we get Richard Madden as Icarus. We get a glimpse, tiny little glimpse of Kit Harington as Dane Whitman. Brian Tyree Henry as Fastos. Brian Cogan as Droog. Lauren Ridloff as Makari. Ma Dong-seok as Gilgamesh. And, of course, Lee McHugh as Sprite. So we get all the good guys. We don't get any of the bad guys. We don't see what the threat is. We don't get any indication of where this is all going to go. So I'm really curious. Will trailer 2 give us a better? I'm hoping it'll give us a better look. And we're still months away. I mean, this is a November 5th release, and we're the end of May right now, May 25th. So we're still June, July, August, September, October. There's a good question, JD. Whatever happened to the Adam Warlock nod? That's going to be dealt with if it's going to get dealt with, it's going to be dealt with in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And I think that will pop up in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. The nods were made in Guardians of the Galaxy first with the cocoon and the collector's trophy room, which turns out is not his. And then we actually see the cocoon at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy does tie in to the Eternals, because the floating head in space nowhere, that's a Celestial. And Ego refers to himself as the last Celestial. So if he's the last Celestial, then maybe we're not getting Celestials in the Eternals movie, which is kind of weird. Because you think of the Eternals, if you read the comics at all, the only 2 threats they ever seem to really deal with are the Deviants and the Eternals. And they're also tied to Thanos and Titan, because that's another group of, the part of their race moved off to Titan or from Titan. They're all tied together. Again, that'll be tomorrow's show. We'll get in depth into that. But my takeaway from the trailer was gorgeous, neat looking cast, loved the history feel to it, the epic scope to it. Don't know what the hell's going to happen. Any idea I have comes from having read the Neil Gaiman run. And that's because there really aren't that many really good Eternal runs. They would pop up occasionally. Different writers would try to raise their level of exposure, and then they would just fade away, or there'd be a line-wide event, and suddenly they were just gone again. And is there currently a series of Eternals going on? I don't think I've seen it pop up on the in stores this week in a while, but I know there was a series not that long ago. And then there was another run a while back by Daniel Knopf and Daniel Acuna. Charles Daniel. One's the father, one's the son. But Knopf and Daniel Acuna. So I don't know what's going to happen with that movie. It seems to be wide open. Haven't been any real script leaks. I mean, there's some. You can kind of guess certain things. The idea that Sprite might have they might have lost their memory. There's a scene where Cersei is in like Piccadilly Square, and then suddenly she's in Babylon, and it's like, well, maybe she's getting her memory back there. Maybe this not going to be a linear storytelling. We're going to start in modern day and then go back as she gains her memory, and maybe Dane Whitman is the audience part of this thing, kind of getting it relayed to him. That's what I think it might be, but again, can't tell from the damn trailer. All we can tell is some good-looking people and some good-looking costumes, and we're going to get a Bollywood number. Kamal Najani is going to actually be doing a dance routine. So that'd be worth going to the theater for. I do like the fact that his costume in the Bollywood scene looks like one of his costume for the Eternals. So kind of an inspiration there. All right. We're getting pretty close to the end of the show. So let me once again, please remind you guys that we've got a big weekend coming up. It's a celebration of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. It's going to be hosted by comic writer Amy Chu and Ming Chen, who you're probably familiar with from the what's the name of the show? The Kevin Smith Secret Stash show that was on. I don't remember if it was called Secret Stash or not, but he was on that show. So, Comic Book Men. Thank you, Kyle. So, Ming Chen from Comic Book Men, they'll be hosting this weekend, and we're going to have a lot of different guests. You can check out comicshoppingexperience.com to get the schedule, the update, and our guest list, along with, just go there for all our stuff if you join the mailing list. And Larry Hama is going to be one of our guests this weekend. So check it out. It should be a great weekend. We've got lots of stuff this week, too. I will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, for where I will be doing a deep dive into the Eternals, the history of the characters, the powers, to get an idea of who they are. Then I'll be back Thursday night with the Dan Wickline Show, where I don't know what I'll be talking about yet, but hey, that's the nature of the show. We kind of make it up as we go along, covering the latest news and the happenings. Maybe I'll look at that the new Karen Gillian, Lena Headey movie. That should be interesting. Other than that, join me tonight for In Stores This Week with Kyle, our producer, and we will be going over all the new books coming out this week, or at least a good number of them, so you can get an idea of what to pick up at the stores tomorrow. And Saturday will be Pop Go the Writers, and again, it's a recorded thing, but if I'm right on the schedule, this should be our classic TV episode where we go over the second season of the television series Mannix, which is an amazing TV series if you haven't watched it. So I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I've got about a minute left, so let me say thank you. It's been fun talking to you. Thank you, JD. And for all the comic stores that run this during the day, hope you guys are having great sales, and we will talk to you soon. Have a good night.
Only on The Experience this weekend, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, with hosts Amy Chu and Ming Chen. Tune in Saturday and Sunday for great conversations with great creators and a celebration of the heritage that these creators have brought to comics. Saturday and Sunday, only on The Experience.